everyone, so I believe we are live. Let me just double check. I am using my Mevo for probably the second or third time, and I'm still getting used to it. So let me go onto my Facebook page and make sure we are live. So just bear with me for a second. I'll also pull it up on my phone. Awesome, so we are live. So as you guys come in, just say hi, just to make sure everything's okay and that you guys can see me well. And we'll get started. Alright, so I see all the comments coming in. Hi everybody. So just give me 1 second while I create a pinned post. So you might have noticed that we are in a different location. We are not shooting from my kitchen / dining room today. We're filming in a completely different location, which is kind of exciting because I haven't had a different spot since I started, and this is a lot more professional. And the Mevo, the cool thing about the Mevo, you guys, is that we're able to zoom in. So yeah, we're able to zoom in, and you guys can see everything up close and personal. So as I'm working, I'll be able to pull the camera towards you, and you'll be able to see exactly what we're doing. Hey everybody, so let me just read a couple of the comments. Hi, wish you had a bot. So I'm still getting that set up. We're still in the process of doing that. So a lot of you guys have been messaging me saying, where have I been? As you can imagine, life has been extremely busy. I'm in school from 7 to about 4 every day, on top of answering emails and doing a bunch of other things. I just haven't had much time, and I've been going to bed a little early lately just because, you know, it's such long days. Yep, I'm here. So, yeah, like I said before, the Mevo does zoom in, but what we're going to be doing today is creating a floral wreath. As you guys know, I love doing florals. Where have you been? I've been here. I love doing florals, and spring is the time to do florals. So that's what we're going to do. First, as I was organizing, as a lot of you guys know, I have been trying to organize a little bit. I came across this box, and I guess I splurged a little while ago. I don't remember getting this, but what I purchased a while back are these. I don't even know where they came from, but I purchased them. They're Burlap Roses. I think they're really, really pretty, but I think I ordered 2 cases of them. So if you guys are interested in purchasing some of these, maybe I will have them available. This is what they look like. I think they're really pretty, especially with like a burlap wreath. Even the wreath we're doing today, I could incorporate some of these. Hi from Saugus. So I just thought I'd show you guys those. Maybe you're interested, maybe you're not, but I do have them. So I gotta charge my phone, so I'm gonna have my phone charging. I did survive Valentine's Day. I just started with florals, love them, me too. So let me show you some of the florals that we're gonna be working with today. I have a whole selection of them. I purchased a lot of florals. I kind of went a little overboard, but that's okay. So I have a lot of florals. So let me start showing some of them. We have these peach hydrangeas. I have several of these. So I believe I plugged in my Mevo correctly. For those of you that might have a Mevo, you might know. Right now, when I'm looking at the camera, the top of it is red. I don't know if that's a good sign. Usually red means the camera's dying. But it is plugged in, so we should be A-okay. But if not, I'm sorry if the video dies. I'll learn for next time. We have some of these. This is more of a soft pink, a pale pink. Type of flower. I don't really know what this is. The leaves are kind of rose-like. Maybe this is like a garden rose. We have some of these. Thanks for the shares, you guys. Yeah, so this will be on my Etsy. I did link it in the pinned comments. This is probably the first listing I have posted in a long time. Usually, when I sell them lately, usually people come to the house. They message me as soon as I post some pictures, and they pick them up. But I thought I would post this on Etsy if you are interested we are working on it together. So these flowers came from Michael's. These were $7.99. Michael's has nice quality flowers, however, they're not all that inexpensive. But I do enjoy working with them because they are nice quality. Some of these came from Hobby Lobby as well. We have some of the greenery. You guys have seen me use this in the past. I really like this type of greenery. Thanks for the shares. What else do we have? I showed you the peach. I also have the peach roses. I showed you the soft pink, but this is the peach variation of that. We have more cherry blossoms. We have more of a hot pink hydrangea. We have some of the matching ranunculus. We have some of this, which is probably one of my favorite flowers. It's lavender. We have about 4 stems or 5 stems of this. We also have some of this. I don't really know what this is. I think this would be really pretty in a beach wreath. So maybe I'll hold on to that. And then we have 2 stems of this. I'm not sure what this is, but I thought it was really pretty when I picked it up. And I got it from Hobby Lobby. It was $4.99 a stem. Welcome back. You were the one that got me interested in making wreaths. So much talent. Thank you. I know. I really like the cherry blossoms too. I think they're really pretty. Alright, so that's all the flowers we have in front of me. I have this sign. You guys seem to really like this sign when I took a picture of it. So obviously I couldn't resist, so I purchased some of them. It says, "If you can be anything, be kind." It's just a generic burlap canvas type wreath sign. It's wood. It's like a stretched burlap with whatever this type of stuff is. It's like a paint. Thank you. Alright, so let me know what colors you guys want to work with, and I will use them. I'm thinking more towards maybe just keeping it green and white and saving the pink and the peach for something else. I have some burlap ribbon as well that we could use that I thought would be kind of nice, not as a bow, but kind of tucking a few pieces here and there. I also have some of these roses that came from Michael's. So I'm thinking maybe we'll just stick with that white and green look. I also have these. I guess I missed these. Right here. It's that green variation. These were kind of pricey. These were $9.99 a stem. I kind of like these too, you guys. Maybe we'll do this. Hey, you guys. Alright, so I think we'll end up using these. I think these are pretty. So, let me use the zoom in feature so you guys can see what I'm doing. I think that's really cool that you can do that. Exactly. Yep, signs are expensive. This sign was $17.99. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 leaves off. And I'm just going to snip. You guys have seen me do this in the past. I'm taking basically every piece of greenery off of this. I save these. If we do not use them for this project, I will use them in a future project. I always hold on to the foliage, especially from hydrangeas. And then this, I usually use it to stir the hot glue, which is behind me, or I just scrap it, but I usually keep these. So nothing really goes to waste here. Love your new setup. Awesome. So give me some hearts if you guys like the new setup. It did take me a couple days to set up. Believe it or not, I'm not very good at organizing, so it was kind of difficult for me to put everything away and get set up. And then putting the felt behind me was kind of a challenge too. But we got it done. So I'm going to do the same thing for this one. I'm going to be dividing it up into smaller segments, just like this. Save the leaves, the extra leaves. Exactly, much more room here. And I think it's a better setup, especially with the Mevo now. So I also really like this color with the sign. It ties in the white from the sign. So I'm going to do the same process that I did with the hydrangeas, which is to divide these up. So I even use this foliage. I don't let any of that go to waste. So I have 2 of these stems. Oh, I guess I have 3 of them. We'll cut all 3 and we'll see what we use. So what I also really like too is this. I thought this was really pretty when I purchased it, so we're going to be using some of this as well. I am going to be dividing it into smaller pieces that are a little bit more manageable. How's the new dog? She's very good. She's so sweet, you guys. I'll be posting a picture and her story tomorrow. I've also been really busy with her as well, making sure she adjusts nicely. So we use 2 stems of that. These Hobby Lobby tags, you guys, are awful. Alright. So my baby puppy is named Gemma. She's actually not a puppy at all. She is between 1 and 2 years old, but she's my puppy. I'm wondering if I even should use some picks. Do I have a lot of them? Let's see. First time watching. Awesome. Welcome. Love the new setup. Awesome. So if you are in my private group, we're going to be using the Mevo for my lives from here on out as well. She is a pointer mix, a German short-haired pointer mix, or English, I don't know. But, yeah, she's very sweet. So right now what I'm doing is I'm adding a steel pick to each of these berries with little flowers, and that'll help give me something to anchor into the foam, into the grapevine. These stems are quite thick, so I don't believe I need to pick those. Awesome, I'm glad you like how we zoomed in. Okay, so I'm just trying to decide. I also want to incorporate this. I think this is really pretty as well. So if you go to nickseasonaldecor.com you can sign up for my private group. It is $15 a month, and this month we are doing 8 tutorials like you're seeing here today. I am doing another one tomorrow, so if you are in my private group and you're watching right now, we will be live in the group tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We still have a couple more for the month. So what I'm doing is I'm adding a steel pick to some of these as well that are a little short. And by adding the steel pick, it kind of lengthens the stem a little bit as well. Okay, so these are all artificial. Thanks for the shares. Half of these florals came from Michael's, and the other half came from Hobby Lobby. I'll add a steel pick to this flower as well. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do is decide what other flowers I want to add to this. I don't want any of the roses. I'm thinking I'll add some of these cherry blossoms. I love working with these, and I think they're really pretty. So we'll add some of these as well. Almost 900 people, you guys. Let's see if we can reach 1,000 tonight. So what I'm doing with these is I'm just dividing them up like I did with the rest of the flowers. We're just cutting them at random. So, and I foresee us doing minimum 5 per month. Okay, so for some of these as well, I will add a steel pick too, just for the shorter ones. They are quite thick stemmed, so not all of them need it. Okay, so that should be okay. There's no other super short ones. I also really like this Ranunculus, so might as well place a few of these in as well. So with these I'm going to do the same thing, divide up the flowers so that it's not too clumpy. And this foliage here, I think it kind of looks like seaweed a little bit. So I saved this for my beach wreaths. There's no reason to throw it out. You are spending $6.99 per stem, so might as well use it to your advantage and save it if possible. So I have 3 of them, but I will stick with 2 for now, and if we need more, we can cut into them. Okay, so here we have a huge mess of florals. I'm trying to decide if I want to use the roses. I think these are really pretty, however, I think we'll just keep it light and airy for now and do without. But I do like this foliage. We are going to use some of this. So all I'm doing is the same thing that I've done with all the flowers, which is just divide up the foliage into smaller workable pieces. Also, you guys, we are doing a giveaway at 100,000 followers. We are getting very close. So if you are interested in a giveaway or if you have some great ideas for it, I'd love to hear it. I know pretty much what we're going to do at this point, but I'm still interested in hearing what you guys potentially would like to see as a giveaway or a prize. But I see a credit towards Trendy Tree. I see an Amazon gift card. I see a membership, most likely a 6-month membership into my exclusive wreath community. I'm also using some of this boxwood. I am dividing it up into smaller pieces. I also maybe will see a craft box if you are a crafter, full of supplies. I could do a little shopping in my supply room and pick up some supplies for you. So the foliage we're using in this wreath is a little bit more expensive than what you see me using in the other wreaths, which is ficus. This boxwood runs $3.99 a stem. But if you are interested in the wreath we're making today, it will be available on my Etsy shop. I did pin the post in the comments section if you're interested. Okay. A pick machine would be a nice giveaway. It'd be a very nice giveaway. Craft box or a group membership. So definitely a group membership will be happening. Okay. So let me take off the tags because I hate working with tags. They seem to never fall off. Okay. So I have a little bit of foliage. I have a little bit more here that we can use to kind of bulk it up a little bit. And then I'll attach a sign with some pipe cleaners and some staples, and then we'll get started on creating the wreath. A box of supplies, so I'm definitely going to consider that. I know I'll be doing a 6-month membership to my group, which is, what, 6 times 15, a $90 value? And then some gift cards and other stuff. It obviously won't be for just one person. We will distribute that in 3 different winners. So now let me pan over, which is really cool to say and to be able to do, to the Grapevine Wreath that we're going to be working with today. What I'm using is an easel that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. It was $29.99, $39.99, somewhere in that realm, maybe a little bit more, definitely not less. But that's what I use. I just poke it into the top. You could be using a fancy easel that you can get specifically for wreaths, but I have found this to work perfectly fine, and it's something that I've been using for a little while. You guys typically see me create on the table or the door. That's my preference rather than standing up and working like that. But in this case, I think for viewing reasons, I think it's best to work with it up like this. So that's why we're using it. Yep, you could use your 40% off discount. Thanks for the shares, you guys. Okay. Make sure everything's visible. So, you know what? We'll attach the sign first. Move back to the table. So what I'm going to use to attach the sign is some pipe cleaners with a staple gun. This sign came from Hobby Lobby. It was $17.99. I picked it up a little whiles ago because I know that they sell really fast now. So I did pick it up early. What I'm going to use is some beige pipe cleaners. 1,000 viewers. Awesome. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for all the shares, too. I appreciate it. It gives me that boost. This is a staple gun. This is an arrow staple gun. I'm using 1/4-inch staples for this sign, I don't worry about it because it is well over 1/4 of an inch. It's probably an inch thick. But if I'm working with smaller signs, it is important to be using 1/4 inch staples or supporting it somehow with extra stability. One way or another. Yep, I'm going to take the tag off, don't worry. So right now what I'm going to do is hold it up to the wreath and see exactly where it needs to go and exactly where I want some pipe cleaners. And make sure it is secured in several different spots. This is an arrow staple gun. Again, I'm going to hold it up, see if I can secure it in any more locations. Okay. So you could place the sign directly in the middle. That is totally up to you and your preference. You could put it off kilter like I'm doing here. What I'm doing is I'm weaving the pipe cleaners through the back of the wreath and twisting securely to make sure that they are attached. So I am securing it tightly by pulling it really, really tight. I have 5 pipe cleaners, which I will cut afterwards. I don't think I need to bore you guys with cutting pipe cleaners, but I am making sure that I'm twisting securely and twisting several times to ensure that it is secured. So there's no chance of it falling off or slipping or sliding around the wreath. Okay, so let's get to adding some foliage. What we're going to work with is some of these palms, palm leaves, palm fronds, whatever you want to call them. I am using a glue skillet. You guys can't see that on camera, but that is what I'm using. And for this style of wreath, I'm going to have the greenery coming uphill like I typically do. But notice too, as I'm working these in, I am bending them slightly so they kind of have a natural curve. Nothing really grows perfectly straight in the wild like that. Yep, you could use pliers to pull them through. But if I have a million pliers, they will just disappear. It seems that all of my stuff disappears as I'm working. I lost the scissors that my sister got me. Obviously they're somewhere down here in the shop, but as everything was moved around, they got misplaced somehow. So we're back to using my trusty old Betty Crocker scissors and these generic scissors from Harbor Freight, I believe. I'm using AdTech glue sticks. I just chop them up into smaller pieces and work them into my glue skillet, making sure that they're small enough that they don't drip around the edge. You could purchase glue pillows or glue pelts. But I prefer just the glue sticks, broken down to smaller pieces. Yep, my sister did give those to me for Christmas. They're somewhere down here, and they'll probably turn up tomorrow. But it was getting late, so I didn't really want to search for them high and low, but they're somewhere here. Okay, so we have the base greenery kind of in its place. As you can see, I'm working in this general motion. I try to teach my members to always work with their greenery going in one direction for wreaths like this style. There is one exception that I showed them. But whenever I make wreaths like this, I work with my greenery going around in one general motion. So now let's add a little darker foliage, which is some of this boxwood. I'm just going to tuck this in. We don't have a whole lot of foliage here. I kind of went flower crazy, but I didn't really find all that much foliage that I cared for. I'm pretty picky. So we are working with a little greens today, but we have a lot of flowers that we could add. So typically for spring wreaths, I like to use more lighter area foliage. Boxwood can be kind of heavy, but I do really like the look for most seasons. Actually, for all seasons, I really like boxwood. But as you can see, the palm fronds are kind of light and airy. So we have one more foliage to add, which is this variegated foliage. So we'll tuck in a few pieces here and there. I believe we only cut one stem. I think that is all that I have around me today. So we'll work with what we got. Exactly, it is like a mini electric skillet. But instead of food, it is filled with hot glue. And a lot of people have the misconception that the glue is no good after it dries or hardens for whatever reason. But all I do for that is I just reheat the glue over and over again and fill it as I need it. Okay, so I have a few more pieces of this boxwood from those 2 stems that we cut, so I will just add them into the wreath. And notice that I am working all of these greens in the same direction as the first pieces, which is either clockwise or counterclockwise, whichever direction you choose to do. So I have another piece of boxwood right here. Yep, I am back live, you guys. Okay, so now I'm just deciding what I want to add next. We are all done with most of the greenery. If we want to go back and add some more, I do have some more greenery that we could add. But I'm thinking we should add some of these berries now. These berries with little flowers. So now I'm going to go throughout and add pieces of this. And this ties in the white from the sign. I love the new setup. Awesome. I'm glad you guys like it. So this sign came from Hobby Lobby. It was $17.99. I believe that is what I said in the beginning of the video. But also notice, you guys, that I am making sure that the stems are deeply secured into the grapevine. And I am applying a generous amount of hot glue. That is something that I always recommend you guys do as well. I don't skimp on the hot glue whatsoever. I actually use so much hot glue that I have 2 boxes, 2 50-pound boxes of hot glue in storage, because that's how much I use it. So I have a couple pieces of this left that will incorporate. So I'm using an 18-inch grapevine wreath. And I did offset the sign. We will have primarily the larger flowers on this side, and then peppering in a few of the Ranunculus and smaller hydrangea pieces. So next, we'll incorporate these. We are going to be using all 3 of them. I know I would like one here. So I have the third one that I'm going to cut right in front of you guys. You guys already saw me do this in the beginning. However, if you're just tuning in, I save all of the foliage, like these hydrangea leaves. Instead of throwing them out, I save them. These flowers are $9 each from Hobby Lobby. I save the foliage and I use it to cover ugly parts of the wreath or just use as a filler. It is a nice foliage, so might as well use it. I'm thinking right here. So don't worry about your flower placement being exactly perfect. For this style of wreath, it's not going to be a perfect wreath where everything's in a row. We are going to blend these colors in a little bit more so it doesn't look like 3 giant snowballs facing you. We are going to use the smaller flowers that come with it, the less open buds. But for this style of wreath, it doesn't have to be perfect. In other wreaths where we have a bow and then 3 flowers in a perfect triangle, that is where it's a little bit more important to try to keep it uniform and similar. But like I said before, for a wreath like this, I don't go too crazy about it. So I know you guys have heard me talk about in the past how I try to keep my flowers from facing straight at you. For hydrangeas, I don't worry about that. Hydrangeas are one of the flowers that don't really have a face, if that makes sense. Whereas a flower like this rose, I would never stick it so it's facing out towards you exactly like this. I would always offset that a little bit by pointing it towards the center or out towards the edge. Flowers like this kind of have a face effect to me. Same with the ranunculus. As you guys see me incorporate them, I'm not going to have them facing out towards you exactly like this. I will have them more towards the center or more towards the outer edge, because flowers like this have a face. I don't know the right word for it, but I don't really like the way they look when they're facing out towards you, so I always offset them a little bit. But now we're going to incorporate the other 2 smaller hydrangeas that came with the 3 larger flowers. And we're going to place them evenly in between. Thanks for the shares, you guys. I see them coming in. So I'm going to take this last one, even these flowers. I am working in the same direction as the foliage, which is going, again, either clockwise or counterclockwise, whichever you prefer. So now before we even start adding the pink, I will add a little bit of this lime. So right here I do want to add a little bit more greens or some type of filler, but we can do so in a couple minutes after we add the remaining green flower. Right there. Now let's incorporate some of the ranunculus. doing the technique that I showed you guys a few minutes ago where we're offsetting the flowers so that they don't appear as though they're facing out towards you. They're looking away from you. And these don't grow perfectly straight up and down either, so just run your fingers through them and kind of give them a little bit more life. Love your wreaths. I got my motivation from watching you. Thank you. So when we decide to add some ribbon, which I'm thinking is just going to be the plain burlap, in a technique that I don't believe I have showed on this page yet, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of like my ribbon just to be on this side, whereas this side's going to be a little less full, a little less dense. Like I said in the beginning, you could place the sign perfectly in the center if you prefer that, but for what I'm trying to go for, I am going to offset it. But that is totally up to you as the designer. So I'm going to work in a few of these little white flowers. So I have one more. Once I find the stem. Okay, again, I want to place a little bit of greenery or some type of filler there. Okay. So before we get to adding the ribbon, I do want to place a few of these cherry blossoms, just a couple of them. So since I placed a couple on that side, to carry that throughout, I will place a few throughout the wreath. Yeah, exactly. I stapled a pipe cleaner to the back of the sign. I stapled actually 5 pipe cleaners to the back of the sign, and then I did 2 pipe cleaners each, 2 staples each, and then I wrapped it around the wreath. Making sure I twisted at least 4 or 5 times on the back of the wreath. So I'm going to fill in a little bit more with the cherry blossoms. So now I'm going to incorporate some of this ribbon. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop the spool onto the ground. Cut the ribbon at an angle. Instead of dovetailing, that's what we're going to do for this. Just cut it at an angle. Just measure out a length. I'm going to take a couple beige pipe cleaners we're going to attach with beige today. That's going to go here. Measure out another length. Pinch and twist. So as always, I step back and I see if there's any bare spots. But right now we're just trying to get the basics done. And then we could fill in as needed. So basically what I'm creating is a ribbon train, a ribbon streamer with a bunch of loops. It's one continuous piece. And this is a lot more softer than adding a huge bow. For this style, I would not be adding a large bow. I mean, obviously you can if you want. But all I'm doing is essentially just eyeballing it. Eyeballing placement. So this is wired ribbon. Exactly, wired ribbon. And I wouldn't be doing this without wired ribbon. You'd be going through hell, to be honest. And this is a lot soft. This is a softer way of adding ribbon. I don't really care for the harsh, huge bow for spring. I mean, if that's your design preference, you can do that. But I like my ribbons to look a little bit more incorporated into the design rather than placed directly on top, which is why we're doing what we're doing today. So I'm feeding it through the grapevine like we did everything else until I get to the back of the wreath, and then I'm going to twist tight. And then afterwards we can adjust the placement a bit better. But right now it's just about getting it on. Again, I'm making sure I'm twisting 4 or 5 times so that the ribbon does not go anywhere. But keep poking in the streamers or the little clusters of loops. Weaving it in and out. All right, last one. So at this point, once you get all of your ribbons attached, what I like to do is I like to pull some of the greenery through, some of the flowers through, to kind of hide the flowers a bit more. Pull the flowers through like this right here until you get the effect that you're going for, which is kind of ribbon just incorporated throughout and not just thrown on top. So you might think, why are you adding this if you're just going to hide it? I love the effect of it. I do see a spot I want to add a flower or two there. Thank you. So at this point, you can stand back, see if you have any bare spots, see if you have any spots you want to fill in a little bit. Like I said, this is kind of a one-sided floral piece. We are accenting it with a little bit of florals on this side, which is why I am going to go back in and fill in a little bit more so it doesn't look quite as bare. And to do so, I have a couple more of the peonies, not the peonies, the ranunculus, that we can incorporate in. And then I have, let's see what else we got on this table. I think we'll just stick with a few more of the ranunculus. And here's another branch, so another $6.99 stem. I'm going to try to find the smaller pieces rather than the larger pieces to incorporate onto that side, since we are trying to keep the florals to a minimum. So here's two more that we'll incorporate. I do see a little spot up there that I want to add a bit more greenery to, and then I think we'll be all done with this design. Thank you. Yes, I am 19. Okay, one more little section of greenery, and then I feel as though I'll be ready to put it on the door and see if there's any more bare spots that I would like to incorporate a bit more flowers into. Right there I see another little spot. So as you're working, this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to see things that you might want to add. Some negative spaces. Some bare spots. Which is why I recommend you guys save your scrap greenery, because you never know when you might use it. So it is simple. You guys can definitely do this. And it does take a little practice. And obviously, if you guys do end up joining my group, I believe it will be a little beneficial, because we are going to be doing a lot more florals as time goes on. But I know a lot of you guys are intimidated by florals. And you know what? I don't blame you guys. They are a little tricky. I love them to death. But with practice, you guys will be able to tackle this very easily. And you know what? If you guys mess up, the nice thing about this is that they're not fresh flowers. You're not damaging them. Just rip them apart, take them off the design, and use them again and again until you get the effect that you're going for or the look you're trying to achieve. So all the greenery that I'm using to place in the spots that I feel as though needs a little bit more greenery are stems from the flowers that we're working with. I'm not using any new greenery. Okay. I do prefer grapevine over mesh. I do prefer florals over mesh. That's just a personal preference. I love working with mesh as well, but I do like working with florals a bit better. Sending you a great artist, and I appreciate you for sharing. Thank you. So I do appreciate when you guys share the videos as well. It lets me know that you guys want me to continue doing them. I have been very, very busy, which is really no excuse, but I am trying to get into the swing of things again and create more designs. And when you guys share and I see the numbers and I see that you guys are interested, it kind of gives me that push to kind of jump in and do more lives. But yeah, you know, just mess around with it. What I'm going to do after this is I'll take pictures of the design and I'll see if I have any more bare spots. So you guys are looking at it from a different perspective than I am. I cannot really stand all the way over here, so I am kind of looking at it from the left-hand perspective rather than from all angles. But whenever I take pictures on the door, a good tip for you guys is to always put it on the door, take your camera out, kind of like pan over it, see if you see any negative spaces or any bare spots or uneven places that you could add some florals, and then adjust accordingly. But I want to thank you guys for watching. You know, I've missed you guys a lot. But if you guys are interested in purchasing this wreath, I pinned it in the comment section. And also, if you are interested in joining my group, head over to nickseasonaldecor.com and click the subscribe button in the left-hand corner. It's $15 a month. We're doing 8 tutorials this month. And we're doing 8 tutorials like this. We already did a lantern swag, a wreath. We have a few more things to do this month. Oh, it's sold already. Sorry. But I thank you guys for watching again, and I hopefully will be on live within the next 2 or 3 days. And I hope you guys like the new setup. Give me some thumbs up if you did enjoy the new setup. Like I said before, we are able to completely zoom out. And right now you guys can see the whole room. If I want to show you guys what I'm working with on the table, I can zoom in on that. But right now, what I'm going to do is zoom in on the wreath and consider it done. My glue is just at a medium temperature. I don't have it set at anything in particular. Thanks, you guys. I hope you guys have a great night, and I'll see you guys all very soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.